As is the case with most games, Destiny 2 is chock full of wonderful Easter eggs for eagle-eyed fans. Destiny, which was first teased in Halo 3 ODST, has gone on to become one of the most popular first-person shooter games of all time. Destiny has developed a unique niche in the market that no other game can match, combining the fantastic action sequences of Halo with more MMO aspects. Moments from the Bungie preview. Destiny 2's Witch Queen DLC is almost out, and due to a hands-off demo event with Bungie, we finally have a ton of fresh information regarding the game's future. Bungie also published a new Vidoc alongside the preview, giving us a far deeper look at the Witch Queen than what we've seen thus far. It reveals fresh information regarding weapon creation, shows off the new location in Savathun's throne realm, and highlights Destiny 2's next DLC season, Season of the Risen. But there's a bunch inside the Vidoc that doesn't include any specifics or comments from Bungie. However, it does hint at a lot of what we may anticipate for Destiny 2 in the coming months. We've sifted through the Vidoc for every tidbit of information we can find regarding the Witch Queen and the Season of the Risen, taking lots of screenshots along the way. There's a lot of blink and you'll miss it sorts of opportunities. So here's what you could have missed. Savathun's ship. The Vidoc begins with excerpts of what appears to be the expansion's early cutscenes. We already know that the Witch Queen will begin with players traveling to Mars, a planet that vanished right before the rollout of the Beyond Light expansion due to the strange and mysterious machinations of the Darkness. The Hive deity, Savathun's royal planet, which is reportedly tied to her massive ring-shaped alien-looking spacecraft, is back on Mars, and going there will allow us to access it. Links to Destiny's past. The Witch Queen, according to Bungie, is carrying on threads that were started in Destiny years ago. This edition represents in many ways the conclusion of years of history and the start of the game's ongoing story arc's closing chapters. When Bungie developers address the past, the Vidoc turns to this clip from the original Destiny's opening sequence of mankind encountering the Traveler on Mars. This is vital for two reasons. Firstly, because Mars represents the beginning of the expansion and our link to Savathun, and second, because we understand Savathun and her lucent brood of Hive seize the Traveler's power, the light, during this expansion. The presumption is that Savathun has taken the light, but this glimpse of the Traveler appears to be hinting at much more. Rise of the Worm Gods. Ikora Rey is definitely an important character in the Witch Queen, and we get the impression that the clips in the Vidoc are giving her visions. Ikora first sees a distant island, when the vision coheres to also feature the Hive's Worm Gods ascending from an ocean in this one. The Oceans of Fundament, the Hive's home planet, and the location where Arash, Sathona, and Ji-Ro first saw the worms, as recorded in the Hive's creation story, the Book of Sorrows, are our initial guess. The three sisters transformed into Oryx, Savathun, and Xivu Arath after making a covenant with the darkness-worshipping worm gods and went on to turn the remainder of their race into the Hive. Easter eggs you may have missed. With 10 years of innovation behind all this, the game has plenty of stories to tell, as well as many community inside jokes. Bungie has thankfully hidden several Easter eggs and hints in their own game for observant fans to locate. Rey's Lighter. You can find one of Destiny's most legendary weapons in Destiny 2, but you can't use it. In the Homecoming level, Lord Shaxx may be seen clutching a Rey's Lighter, although he doesn't appear interested in sharing. The Rey's Lighter was an exotic solar sword in Destiny Rise of Iron that dealt massive amounts of damage and had an alternate solar upcut slash that delivered absorbed damage. Various robot guards donning Twilight Garrison may also be seen in the tower, but Titans have yet to master the ability to dodge mid-air in Destiny 2. Vandal on the Sunken Isles. Randall the Vandal was one of the most vexing and unforgettable characters from the first Destiny title. This strong, fallen Vandal has influenced community jokes as well as Destiny 2. In Destiny, a certain Vandal in the Cosmodrome has the possibility to become very tanky at random, necessitating the use of a team of min to maxed out Guardians to decimate him. This character was called Randall the Vandal by the community, and it appears that Bungie added him in Destiny 2. Players can occasionally discover a Vandal in the EDZ's Sunken Isles who, like Randall, has an absurd amount of health. I don't even have time to explain. Destiny's original narrative has been universally panned as among one of the worst plots ever developed in video games. Whatever your feelings about the way it was done, there are plenty of memorable quotes. The Exo Stranger, claiming he doesn't even have time to explain why he doesn't have time to explain, is a popular joke. Cade 6 says practically the same thing in the Red War campaign, so it's either that Exos have the same thought or it's a coincidence. A player will be informed by Cade that he doesn't have time to explain what he doesn't have time to understand when being kidnapped on Nessus, a subtle allusion to the classic statement from the previous game's title. Amalon's iPhone parody. The weapon of a Guardian is an integral aspect of their identity. The Grimoire contains whole stories centered on a Guardian and their weapon. Given their importance, it wouldn't be shocking if a big corporation attempted to reinvent how guns work. That's exactly what the lore lab in Hardlight says. It's a carbon copy of Steve Jobs' iPhone announcement, with the exception that the references to a phone are replaced with references to an auto rifle. Given how common auto rifles are in the Crucible right now, Amalon may have benefited from the disclosure. Days since the last accident. At some point during their journey, everyone has leapt off the tower, whether by mistake or for no reason at all. The lore makes light of it at times, but it's more serious than that. Did you guys know that the tower keeps track of Guardians who have died as a result of a fall? Yes, that's a fact. Go to the tower hangar and stand on the balcony with a view of the zone. You'll see a sign that says days since the previous accident from there. This counter shows how long it has been since a Guardian has fallen from the tower, with the counter reset to 0 if anybody dies. Hope for the future. Until the announcement of Destiny, Paul McCartney and Bungie were not associated with one another, and yet Hope for the Future, one of his songs, is used in a few portions of the original Destiny. His song is still in Destiny 2, even though it isn't heard in the credits like it was in the original game. Play the Homecoming quest and go to the tower hangar's wrecked end to hear it. If you listen closely, you may hear a distorted version of the music looping. Shaq's mixtape. Guardians are invincible, but that doesn't mean they don't look after their bodies. As Shaq's mixtape demonstrates, staying in shape to face the forces of the darkness is no easy task. Players can visit Zavala's office during the Fourth Horseman exotic quest line, which was introduced in Season of the Worthy. Stop at his office and hop to the rear left of the room on your route to get this weapon. Shax has a mixtape on his bookshelf that he prepared for himself, including tunes from the Destiny world and motivational words to keep the workout going. K1 Logistics NASA emblem. Shadowkeep, Destiny 2's most recent edition, is dedicated to defeating the hive-infested moon's nightmares. There are many secrets on this moon, but one of them is based on a fact. In Archer's Line, players may locate a secret NASA symbol in the K1 Logistics Lost Sector. As usual, proceed through the Lost Sector until you find the boss arena. A wrecked satellite may be found to the right of the doorway. When you interact with it, you'll receive an insignia that looks like the Luna H map mission's official logo. This Easter egg also mentions the Lunar Polar Hydrogen Mapper, a spacecraft that will crash land on the moon in 2021 to seek out, well, hydrogen, whether we wanted it or not. Among Destiny fans, Cerebus Vi 3 is an unmistakable strike. It's not because of the mechanics, but of the discourse. This strike begins with Zavala declaring that they have waged a war with the Cabal on Mars, whether they wanted it or not. This line of conversation appears in Destiny 2, but it's not from Zavala. Instead, it's on the Preferences menu subtitle screen. The example text, upon changing your subtitle option, is none other than Zavala's notorious entrance speech, Whispers on Io. To have discovered this obscure reference, you'll need to be a hardcore Halo aficionado. The task of Whisper of the Worm was teased in Halo 2. It's unclear whether this is a joke or a coincidence, but it's a fun Easter egg regardless. Cortana will give another hint about Io to Fleet Admiral Terrence Hood during the first level of Halo 2. This corresponds to how players in Destiny 2 obtain the Whisper of the Worm exotic sniper rifle. To get it, you must slaughter a Taken Knight at a specific Io public event called The Whisper in order to unlock a special doorway.